Hello, hello. Hi, everyone. Hi, hi, hi. Oh, I see Balaji Adeyemi, you're there. Nice to be back for another Sassy Live. Good to have you here. Good to have you. Thank you for tuning in so early. I'm really hoping people tune in. As in, I told everybody it was, Saturday. We're going to do live today on Saturday. So let's just wait a few more minutes for a few more people to join the live session before we talk about today's topic. And of course, this session, as I mentioned before, is an Ask Sassy live session. So if you have any questions about travel, not about travel, you can ask every single question on this platform. It's going to run for 30 minutes. This session today is going to run for 30 minutes. So again, if you have any questions, but just as we're getting people, warmed up to come onto the live, I would absolutely love to know, where are you guys tuning in from? Like, are you tuning in from the US, from Nigeria, from the UK? Just drop the flag of the country where you're tuning in from in the chat section. So you can, again, drop your countries in there or drop any questions you have in there. Oh, Humphrey. Hi. Humphrey's from Germany. I love it. Germany, Germany. Oh, I need to visit Germany soon again. I went to Germany for, what's that? Is it Oktoberfest? Oh, yeah, Oktoberfest. It was fantastic. Like, I really had a good time. Okay, everybody else, where are you guys tuning in from? Are you tuning in from London, Scotland, Australia? Oh, Inkiruka said, I hope I didn't butcher your name. Tuning in from Newcastle, England. Wow. I lived in England for so many years and Scotland, and I've never been to Newcastle. I feel like I was always in London. And Humphrey said, "Hello, Sassy. You're doing a great job. Thank you very much. I appreciate that." Let's just wait a few more minutes. There are a few people on the live now. You guys, don't be shy. You can just, drop your flag or your country or your city in the chat section below so that I just know where you are. So we're family here, no forming. Um, Bolaji said, nice to be back, viewing from Lagos this time. So you're just traveling everywhere, Bolaji. You're just traveling. So when they say money is plenty, please share the money. Share some of that money with us. Good to have you here. Thomas. Oh, I had Thomas. Hi, LA, California. I remember you. Thank you for tuning in again. It's really nice to have you as part of the family again. Yes, guys. I'm not sure if you guys saw the thumbnail for today's session. And it's about, African parents demanding too much from their children abroad. Right. So, yeah, so that's what we're going to be talking about today. And this really stemmed from a clip that I saw online from this really big creator, Swaggy Mo. I don't know if you guys know Swaggy Mo, but he's an African, he's not Nigerian, but African creator. And he talked a little bit about how he didn't like how African parents sort of like make the kids feel indebted to them, essentially. And I'm going to play the exact video that he shared as we dive into this. Right. So as we're getting started, please make sure to just like this video, like it, give it a thumbs up. It's free. It's free. By giving it a thumbs up, you actually let YouTube know that something is happening here and they'll recommend the live to other people to join us. We want more people to join us now. We want to share the love. So just, we're more people than the thumbs up. Let's give it more thumbs up. Thumbs up. Hey, so I can see it rising. Let's keep rising. You guys, let's keep rising. Okay. So yes, as I said, today we're diving into something that's been trending online and it's low-key controversial. Are African parents too demanding of their children abroad? Or are they just being understood? Like, that's the underlying theme here. Are they demanding too much, or people are just misunderstanding African parents, right? So with that said, I think I'm going to jump into it and actually share with you guys the what's it called, the 2-minute video. It's a bit long, 2 minutes, but I'm not sure if you've seen it. Have any of you guys seen the video yet? I don't know if you've seen it. Like, let me know in the chat section if you actually seen the video. And actually, in the midst of that, I am going to actually put up a poll for you guys to interact and just, just initial thoughts, right? Do you believe African parents are demanding too much too much. How do you say too much? Right? Like, or demand too much. Forget the grammar. Right. So I put up a poll just to get a sense of where is everyone at. Do you believe that African parents are demanding too much, or they demand too much from their children abroad? Right. And we'll go into that. So with that said, let me actually pull up the 2-minute video so you guys can watch it. You know, but you say you've not seen the video yet. Okay, so I'm gonna pull it up so you can watch it. Wait 1 second. Okay, bear with me. There's a trait a lot of African parents have that I genuinely do not like, and that is making your children feel like they are in debt to you. They're so quick to feel like they're not paying rent, they're not paying school fees, they're not paying for food. Like, sir, that's what you're supposed to do as a parent. Your child did not ask to be born. We get it. You made endless sacrifices for us to have better opportunities than you did. But that's what you're supposed to do as a parent. As a parent, if your child ends up in worse conditions than you were in, then you seriously should question your role as a parent. Understand this, just because you have to walk miles to school and your children are getting driven to school, does not make their struggles any less valid. I oftentimes say that there are two things in life that you cannot avoid: death and getting tested. And everyone is going to be tested in accordance to what they can handle. Okay, I'm gonna pause this because you guys said it's very low. Okay, I'm gonna try and change to see. Let me know it's better now. I'm gonna. They can handle. At my very young age, I had to go through struggles on my own. I had to walk miles to go to school. I had to learn a whole new language. I had to adapt to a whole new system that I was not accustomed to. But there's no way I'm going to be throwing this in my children's faces as a way of telling them that they owe me for making the sacrifices that I did to give them a better future. And to all the African parents out there, understand that you are appreciated more than you know. Even when I do something for a complete stranger, fisabilillah, I did it for the sake of God. Let alone my own flesh and blood that did not ask to be here. And this is me honestly speaking. If my parents did that to me, I guarantee you our relationship will be completely different because I would have built up resentment towards them. 100%. I'm so glad I wasn't brought up like this. As a result, every single thing that I do for my parents, even if it's 50 cents, that came from a place of love, from a place of excitement, from a place of wanting to do something for my parents just for the sake of. And it's crazy because I've been vicariously living through my friends to the point where it's impacted me in my professional and adult life. I have a problem asking for help. I cannot ask for help because if your own parents will throw in your face what they have done for you, then what about a complete random stranger? And this does not mean that you don't talk about your shortcomings, your struggles. By all means, share it. But share it from a place of motivation rather from a place of throwing things in people's faces. Because I guarantee you, people will build resentment towards you. And to all my African parents, I really and truly love and appreciate you guys dearly. And excuse me for my tone. That's just how I communicate. But sending you a lot of love. Peace. There's a trait a lot of African parents have that I genuinely do not like. And that is making you... I guess many of you get a sense of what the video is about. I'm sorry if you couldn't hear it well before, but I'm sure you got a sense of where he was coming from. Hello, Born Warrior. Good afternoon, good evening. Good to see you here, Born Warrior. Thank you for coming on the live session. I'm going to read a comment from Humphrey. He said, Sassy, what African parents are doing to their children abroad is nonsense. Demanding and putting their entire life on their children, our brothers, it's supposed not to be. That is nonsense, right? You know, and to be honest with you, I hear what you're saying, and I think we really need to put it into context, right? Because the first time I saw that video from Swaggy Mo, myself, I was very like, yes, preach it, preach, yes, you're right. And I had to sit and reflect on it, right? And understand that context really matters. You know, a lot of times, I'm not saying in every situation, I feel fundamentally, you know, I guess the way some African parents feel they are loved is when they are taken care of, right? Because that is what their version of what love is. You know, it would be understandable if, for example, a parent struggled so hard to put a child through school, to send them abroad, and they expect that child to provide a home for them back home. Like, do you not think that is understandable? Like, from that parent's perspective, you know, I do agree with you that, yes, some people threw it in some people's faces, but in that particular situation of maybe somebody selling all their property to send a child abroad to school, you know, do you think it's not, you know, what's that quote again? To who much is given, much is expected, right? Like, what do you think about that? Humphrey said, mostly we Nigerians are very wicked and we don't even care if you are dying. Like that as an explore, tell me a little bit more about this. If you can give me like a specific example or just a, doesn't have to be a real example so I can understand exactly where you're coming from. But I do agree that the African parents, African parenting is very different from the West parenting, right? Because the West, they're very exposed. The way they were raised, the way people were raised there is very different to how African parents were raised. Our African parents, remember back in the day, they want you to be a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer. Why? So that you could make money and bring money back. Like that was their thinking, right? It's only nowadays you find African parents being more like, oh, you want to live your life, you want to go into arts, culture, music, you want to be a musician. They're much more open to it. And they're also much more open to it because of the financial benefit that potentially they'll get. Like, so I do understand what Swaggy Woman was saying in terms of, African parents always bringing it up like, oh, but I paid you this, I paid you that. And I'll give my example. Definitely for me, my parents sacrificed a lot. They sacrificed a lot, as in a lot for me, right? And they do from time to time say, Funke, I have to get all my money back for everything you did. I know they're joking about it, but another part, if I give them the money, they will still take it. So they're not really joking. But personally, though, I've never felt badly about that because they did sacrifice so much for me. So I'm like, you know what, I actually owe it to these people. But again, I don't, because I'm not actually necessarily doing it, right? I don't feel the financial burden compared to someone that is, has their own family abroad, trying to raise their own family, and at the same time having to send money back home, to build house, to do this, to do that. So it can be a lot, right? Born Warrior said, when parents keep reminding us of what they have done once we are adults, it's just it's just worse. It's just as worse. I agree. As in, like, I'm taking my own personal example. My dad reminds me all the time of everything he's done, right? But I don't even take it offensively because I tell him at time, like, but that was your job now. I didn't ask you, and we always just like banter around it. But I think it's just a normal African thing, parent thing to do. And perhaps a lot of people are not as strong, like I don't let things bother me. Like, my family can be saying, but I don't even let it get to nobody. I'm not easily affected by people's words. So, but I can understand for the average person, getting that pressure constantly can be a lot, right? So I agree with you, but I think the way to deal with it is that maybe they do not know better, right? And we are now the new generation to do better, right? So for our kids and for our, future generations. Emeka Ani said, it depends on the family. I completely agree with you. Yeah, it depends on the family. Completely. Just looking at this poll. So the poll I asked, I said, do you believe African parents are demanding too much? And it seems, 42% so far have said yes, and 58% have said no. To the 58%, if you voted no, I'd love to see you chat in the comment. Just let me know, why do you believe they're not demanding too much? Like, let me know why, and let's have a dialogue around that. It'd be really interesting to get that. So Thomas just left a comment and he said, I agree with Emeka. It depends on the family. My family and in-laws have hopeful expectations, but are not demanding. See, that is wonderful, right? For a place whereby they hope, you can support, but it's not demand. Yes, of course. I think I put up a post on my Instagram today actually, and it was a funny post about how, do you want to japa? And I said, oh, it depends. It depends whether you want the people that you provide for, like back home, people that you're giving money to back home to live even better than you, like to realize that, So just to say, a lot of times, a lot of people don't actually know the struggle that people that are living in the West, like the intense work they have to do, the hours, the loneliness, all the things they have to deal with, and then having to deal with the pressure of providing for home, right? And when those people are demanding, it just adds more to the pressure. So I think not understanding the struggles that, people have to entail abroad, like the bills, everything, right, can be a lot. And to not add that demanding aspect can lead to a lot of resentment. So I completely understand that. So okay, so what's it? Humphrey, he said, a parent that sells his property to send you to school is good. And you have to give back. That's another thing. Exactly. So I think I was saying that context matters, right? A parent that sacrificed so much. And I think we need to understand that a lot of parents, maybe back home in the day, did not really have a safety haven, like a pension, something that they're relying on. Essentially, their pension is their child, right? Like they don't have any state pension, any government, there's no government support the way it is in the West. As in, sometimes when we compare ourselves to the West and say, you know what, but here, the Caucasian people are not pressured, it's because structures in the country is protecting them, right? But in Nigeria, in Africa, it's not necessarily the same. So people literally, I have friends that their parents had like maybe 10 kids, so that potentially they have a chance of as in a few of them will make it and they will make money and give their money back. So I think back in the day, even the thinking around having kids is also around wealth, right? This child is going to become a source of wealth for me. And that is the thinking. And maybe that thinking needs to change, right? So Emeka said, think about it this way. Some parents sold their property to pay for university abroad for the kids. Such people, the kids owe a lot to the parents. Remember, people abroad still have student loan to pay the parents, don't pay fees. Right, exactly, right? So abroad, a lot of people that are, British or American, whatever, they get loans from the government, right? To support, and they still don't pay fees, right? So when you compare that's why it's really important whenever we're talking about, African parents, and we need to understand the bigger context, the bigger societal, environmental aspects of it, and not to sort of like be harsh on our African parents. Yes. Akin Tunde Bello said, taking care of one's parents at old age is just the moral thing to do. It may not be obligatory, but it's just moral. That's really, really interesting. I'm glad you're bringing that perspective, like that angle to it, like morality, right? This person brought you to life, and if they're getting old, it's your duty in one way or form to support them, even if they weren't even the ones that pushed you to give you money to go to school, right? I think there's a morality aspect there that I agree with you, and I think because our generation knows better, I also think our generation needs to be a little bit less sensitive, right? Not to diminish the points Swagimo was making, but to just be a little bit understand, you know what? These people come from a different era. I'm not going to start changing by their 60s and 70s. They're going to understand what I'm saying in 60s and 70s, right? So it's for me to just ensure that I don't perpetuate the same thing in my kids, right? I think that is what's really important. Or what do we think? Like, what do you guys think? Do you guys have any other thoughts around this? Let me know. And also, I said, even though we're having this conversation about this trending topic, if you have any questions about anything, please feel free to drop it in the chat section. Okay, so Humphrey left a comment. We have to take care of our parents. That is normal. But in a situation where some parents put pressure on their children to do nonsense because of wealth, yeah, of course, those are not great parents. Yes, I think putting pressure is another level, and it's a different level, and I think it's important for kids in their own way to create boundaries for themselves so that the pressure doesn't get to them. And if that boundary is, I'm only speaking to you once a month, or I'm only giving you a large sum of money every month, don't ask me for anything else. This is what I can afford, and keep it like that. Do what you need to do to protect your peace, right? Emeka said, funny thing is that the parent that invested a lot are not always asking for money from kids. The annoying ones are people that contributed zero but want a lot. Entitlement hashtag. You know what? Let me put this here. Do you agree with this, Emeka? Do you think that the parents that invested a lot are not asking for money because those parents are somewhat self-sufficient. Is that the reason why they're not asking for money? Think about it. Like, I, to some degree, I think so. I think some of them that don't ask for much is because they're actually they're savvy with money and able to know how to navigate money themselves, and that's how they were able to support and maybe like invest in their kids. And the ones that don't have, Bolaji just stepped in. He said, totally agree with Emeka's point of view. Okay. So Emeka, you're getting support from the Calvary. Emeka said, agreed somehow or explain. Please explain, Emeka. Looking forward to your next comments. And please, if anybody else has any thoughts around this, like let's have this dialogue around it. Do you really think African parents are demanding too much? Like let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know what your thoughts are. Yes, Humphrey stepped in and said, some parents don't ask for much. He is right. Yeah, some parents don't ask for much. But again, to my point, I do think some parents don't ask for much because they have, or they're resourceful enough to get for themselves, right? Or and I think some, I'm not saying all, right? I think there are some parents that don't ask for much because they just know better that they're okay, their kids are, they're struggling and they're gonna, they'll do the right thing, perhaps. Gosh, a few you guys, I feel like it's Emeka, Thomas, and Bolaji that are having the conversation, and Humphrey having the conversation today. I need more people to step into the chat. Step into the chat, guys. Step in. Let me know. On a different note, I actually I want to put up another poll. So let me just give the conclusion of this particular poll. Do you believe African parents are demanding too much? 44% of you said yes. And a higher percentage, 56%, said no. Interesting. So I think, it's sort of evenish. Yeah. So thank you for voting in that poll. Emeka just left a comment. The parents that have the mind to contribute to send kids abroad might be used to taking from people. Every giver understands and appreciates little we give. Okay. Akintune said, within my capacity, I'm talking of my parents. For myself, I'm putting some investments in place such that I won't have to rely on monthly subvention for my kids. I won't make it obligatory for them. Yes, I think it's really important. I think to be very forward thinking about one's finances so that you don't put pressure on your kids and so that you can actually enjoy your kids when they're older and they want to be around you and they don't see you as a burden. So actually that's a very, very smart thing that you're doing, today. And I think a lot of people should take that on too. Emeka said might not. I can't connect with the might not. Please expand on what you mean might not. I'm sure you're referring to something before. Born Warrior said, well, being an American child, I just thank God that there's funds that our parents can receive after a certain age. Exactly. I think I'm glad that there is, systems that supports people in their old age, because to be honest, there aren't so many systems in Nigeria, right? And even people that, have worked for decades for some companies, the pension they are receiving, 10,000 naira a month, 100,000, like, what is that going to do? Ineffectively, they have to rely, on their children abroad that they, whether they invested in them or not, they have to get the money from somewhere, right? Emeka said smart fund Akintunde. Yes, I think what Akintunde said is really, really, it's really good. It's really, really good. I think I'd like actually speak to even my parents, right? My parents have been also very savvy in the sense of that they never wanted to put pressure on my brother and I, because we're only two of us in the family, and they made sure that they've invested well enough so that they're actually self-sufficient. They don't ever they're always like, oh, okay, you have to give me this, you have to give me that. But without me, they're okay. And also it's also because they don't live above their means. They're very simple people. Yeah. So I think it's really important. That is a lesson that even we have to learn in our generation to ensure that we're putting investments and our kids are not our investments, right? So they don't resent us essentially. Yeah. With that said, we have approximately 5 minutes left of this beautiful and engaging live. If you have any questions, like drop them in the in the comments below, in the chat below, on screen. Drop them in there. And I just want to know, you guys, Dirty December is coming by. It's coming, coming, coming. And I plan to create more videos on educating people on like travel and airports and whatnot. And yeah, so if you have any ideas or video requests that you'd like for me to do, feel free to share here or send me an email at sassyfunke@gmail.com and I can look at those requests, right? Um, oh, Emeka said, happy to hear about your background. I've been following you for 4 years. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You know what? Even with that said, actually, let me ask a poll, a random poll, right? I want to ask actually, how long have you been following me? How long have you, just to get a sense of who are the OGs here following me? Let's see, just to get a sense. I'm gonna say 1 to 2 years, 3 to 4. Let's see. 4 to 5, and gosh, 5 plus, that'll be really okay. I just want to actually just get a sense, just how long have you been following me on any of my platforms? I actually want to know. Please vote, just so it's just feedback for myself. Feedback for myself. I really, really love to know how long have you guys been here. I've put up a poll, so you can click on the poll to vote and just see. It's moving, it's moving. Oh, it's like even across all category years, even there. Wow. Okay, as that is sort of like piling up and everyone is voting, I actually had a question, guys. I am going on my first ever cruise later this month, ever cruise in my life. And if you guys have any tips for me, please let me know, because one of the things that shocked me about going on a cruise, and I didn't organize it, somebody else organized it, is that I didn't know that you have to keep paying for things. Like you have to you have a drinks package, internet package, like £100. Like I said, hey, cruises are not cheap, So please, if you have any tips on how I can best navigate and get the most value from this cruise I'm going on, let me know. Emeka said smart. Oh yeah, he said Bolaji said 5 years. Oh, Bolaji, you're one of the ride or dies, the OGs. I love it. Lucky at me said I'm one of Sassy's OGs. Yes, please, Lucky. How long have you been following the platform for? Let me know. Let me know. Let's see. Bomb Warrior said only a little over a month. I've been following, but I'm happy to be. Thank you. Oh, I'm so happy to hear people are still following from. Thank you for being a part of the community, and I hope you stay here and you're here for a really long time and you enjoy being part of the family. Bolaji said, "What type of cruise?" Yes, it's on. We're leaving from. It's MSC America, so we're going to is it Costa. This is actually terrible, but just like Mexico area, Cozumel, that part essentially. Yes, so it's gonna be to like South America cruise. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm actually looking forward. My first ever, as in, I'm always like, oh, cruises. Thomas said, oh gosh, let me see. Comments are coming up. Let me not mix. Okay. Emeka said, the video you made on British passport story encouraged me during my first few months in the UK. Oh, thank you. I'm glad that encouraged you. That story. Insane. I think I'm actually doing another video, like a live session, talking about like my British passport story, but also my near deportation story. I think that would be really interesting for people. Thomas said, pay up front for the packages you think you might want on the cruise. It's more expensive on the boat. Okay. Okay, so I'll definitely do that. Do that. Caleb said, good to see you finally. Hi, Caleb. Oh, you came late today. What happened? Balaji said, enjoy. Thank you. I'm definitely going to enjoy. Born Warrior said, I was going to ask, where is one place that your heart desires to visit the most? Where do I desire to visit the most? You know what? I would say somewhere I really enjoyed that I would love to go back to again. Um, when I went to Indonesia, to Bali. I really loved it. Like I really love Bali. I love the food. I love the hotels. I love the greenery. Like it was just really an affordable. Yes. Yes, and I'll say one of my other favorite places in the world is Switzerland, but I do go there often. So yes, I always, yeah, I love that Switzerland too. I think I've been to so many countries now that, to be honest with you, when it comes to where my heart desires to go, it's more actually about who I desire to go with. Like if I'm with my really tight friends, I have a really tight knit community, and wherever we are, like even if we're in this room here, like it's a vibe, right? Like we carry the energy anywhere we go. So for me, as I'm getting older, I feel like it's the people I'm around, because I've seen so much of the world already, right? So yes. Emeka said, looking forward to the video on near deportation. Enjoy your cruise. Thank you very much. Akimbel said the Caribbeans. No. Oh yeah, like oh, you mean the visit the Caribbean or the expand on that. Bolaji said, in readiness for Dirty December, can you highlight the hotspots for eating out? I would recommend one, though. I had this lunch at this Chinese restaurant in Lekki yesterday. Loquitos. Oh, okay. You know what? I'm actually planning to put together a guide, like a Dirty December free guide, for people, just at like restaurants, bars, clubs, if you're interested in that. So I think I'll put that together and share that once it's ready. Humphrey said, Sassy, you're supposed to be the Minister of Aviation in Nigeria because you know the job. Ah, thank you very much. Do I want to get into Nigerian, whatever? Maybe I don't even want to. It's if I want peace in my life. Akimela said, I meant places you'd like to visit. Yeah, the Caribbean. I've been to the Caribbean. I've been to Dominican Republic before, which I really enjoyed. It was fantastic. I loved Dominican Republic. Beautiful. The food, fantastic. The fruits, fresh. Like it was actually, yeah, all these all-inclusive packages or this like five-star resorts. I love those. Caleb said the NIS app for the passport renewal is not connecting at all. I tried so many times, no way at all. You know what? Try and reach out to the NIS. What's it called? I think it's and they have a Twitter and an Instagram. Try and reach out to them. I'll keep trying because a lot of people said it's working. I think you just have to just be lucky around it. Emeka said, correct one, Humphrey. A tip on navigating Nigerian airports helped me a lot. I'm so glad. But I just said I will say Minister of Tourism. Yes, I should be Minister of Tourism. But you know what? In good time, I know God has plans for me. So don't worry. We'll see. With that said, it's already past our 30-minute mark. This has been an incredible session. Thank you so much for being a part of it. Definitely, hopefully, we should have a session next week. So make sure you stay tuned for that. I'm going to make it an exciting one. So please, stay tuned. Thank you guys for always tuning in. And just look at the poll really quickly. Let me see this poll really quickly. How long have you been following me? It looks like 40% of you guys on the live session have actually been following me in recent years, 1 to 2 years, right? But a lot of you guys have been following me before too. So, but again, I just want to say a huge thank you for being a part of the community. Like you guys make this platform what it is. So please keep coming on this live, keep engaging. If you have any questions, please share them during the live Ask Sassy live sessions. Thank you so much. Have a blessed weekend. Have a blessed week ahead. Born Warrior said, thank you for another day. Thank you too. Have a blessed week, everybody. And we'll see you hopefully next week. Yes. Bye, everyone. Ciao. Balaji, Asalego. Humphrey said, God bless you. Adebimpe, you are the home. We love you. I love you guys too. Thomas said, thank you, Funke. Ciao. Ciao, Balaji. Bye.